it gives you the feeling of luxury.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So that's why these big brands, and that's why I always, identify with these big brands, and I kind of explain my clients about the colors because of this.
So how did branding come into your life?
See, I started off actually as a graphic designer, but branding came more in the last 15 years or so, when I realized that, especially when the whole startup industry started, right?
Right.
That's when I realized that branding was a very important factor which was being missed out by the industry. As to kind of understand, for people, branding is not a word, it is logo.
Yeah.
And it ends there. I don't like calling it a logo. It's rather an identity. That's why the brand identity creator. Because identity, it's like, my name is Mansi, your name is Vishal. That's your identity, right?
Correct.
There are hundreds of Vishals there. But you have your own identity as Vishal, and I have my own identity as Mansi.
Correct.
The same thing belongs to a company. A company has its own identity. And just a logo cannot define the identity of a company. There has to be a story to it. Because a startup is always started with a story, with a thought. So branding supports that story.
Correct.
So this was actually an understanding which, with which I realized that this was a niche that I kind of enjoyed entering into, and obviously then share my expertise. Because when I started my career, I worked with big brands. I mean, the agencies I used to work with, we used to always, and these are those larger than life agencies. I talk about the multinational companies who spend crores on their branding. I mean, today you see a Nike, you just see a tick mark, you know it's a Nike.
Yes.
That's branding. That's brand identity, right? Somewhere there's a disconnect between a logo and a company's ideation. That connect is what branding is.
For example,
if I am, say I'm selling dry fruits, okay? There are hundreds of people selling dry fruits. What's the USP of my dry fruit, right? So now I can target my audience also based on my branding. Am I targeting the, who's my target audience? Is it the premium brand? Is it the basic, audience? Am I catering to the locals? Am I catering to a premium audience? So your branding actually converts the kind of story that you're trying to tell, or reach the right audience that you want to reach.
Correct.
That's what branding does. Like, if I'll just it's dry fruits, right? I'll just put some nuts in a bowl and just call it whatever.
Correct.
But then if I stylize it, when a person, especially today, the consumers, let's talk about the consumer market. The consumers have become very conscious of which category they want to be a part of, which category they want to belong to. So because they want to belong to a certain category, these are the things that they identify with.
Correct.
The packaging, the logo, the look and feel of the ads that come out. So all this becomes a part of your branding. It's a package. It's not just one thing. It's not just the logo.
Correct.
Your branding starts with a logo, but it has a long journey with a lot of other accompaniments to it.
And colors matter?
Oh, big time.
How do they matter?
Big time. So every color has, so every color denotes a certain adjective, right? Red is for power, purple is royal, a dark blue is royal, black and gold is like a perfect royal combination, blue is corporate. So because blue is a very neutral tone, so these are the things that kind of identify also with the companies, whatever that their aspirations are.
Correct. When I see a yellow and a red M, I know it's McDonald's. I associate the colors with them. So that's how it is. As a consumer,
exactly,
it reaches out to me just with the logo that it's around the corner.
Exactly. All your luxury cars, your BMW, your Jaguar, your any of these, right? Your Rolls Royce.
Correct.
They'll always be in black.
Yes.
It's a very royal color.
Correct.
It's a very, it gives you the feeling of luxury.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So that's why these big brands, and that's why I always, identify with these big brands, and I kind of explain my clients about the colors because of this.
Correct.
Because it portrays a certain language.
Perfect.
If it's a fun brand, like a kids brand, you'd use very primary colors. You'll never use pastel colors unless you're targeting a niche market, which is again a premium brand of kids wear.
Correct.
Where the affordability of the product is a certain, consumer target.
Correct.
Then you will have those pastel shades, but again in those primary tones, just so that it associates with that kind of an audience.
I'm just thinking in my head that First Cry, I think First Cry is pastel.
Yes.
So
yes.
They've used pastel colors.
Yes.
Because now I'm starting to think, acha, that's how it works.
Yeah. So. Yeah. But again, now you see Lego. Okay. Lego products are very bright colors.
Yes.
And they target all, they don't have an age audience, right? But because it works with the sensory, it works with the child's sensory, constructive sensory, or whatever this thing is, Tom. I'm sorry, I'm not getting it right. But that kind of associates with because they're learning colors, right? Small kids are attracted to brighter colors. So those are colors that kind of are used. And then the older the packages are, there are more softer colors that come in, or there are more earthy tones that come in.
Correct.
So, but the kids, the 0 to 3 years, or the 1 to 3 years, whatever, those will have all the primary colors.
Correct. Because
that's the learning stage of colors. So you see, there's a lot of mind play that happens when it comes to marketing, and branding and marketing go hand in hand, because that's how they're targeting the audience. That's how they're selling the product or the service, whichever.
So it's very important to understand first where you as a company want to be.
Yes.
Whom you want to target.
Yes.
And that's how branding starts to play within that, because it is also going to communicate that through it, right?
Yes.
So it does matter. Is that what you're trying to say?
It does. So as a rule, when I sit down with a client, my first question to them is, what is the mission and the vision of your company? If you don't have that set, you can't have branding. You can't do a brand, you can't have a branding exercise. Correct. Because you're not sure of where you want to reach.
Correct.
Or what is your target audience? What is the purpose of your business? What is the motto that with which you're starting a service or a product?
Correct. Because a lot of my friends, what they say is that I'm starting a business, clothing hai. Let's do a logo, and it's just clothing business hai. But that's the norm. That normally people go and say, "Can you design me a logo?" Yes. How do you normally communicate this with them when they come with that mindset? That's what I'm looking for, just logo.
A little education to start with. Yeah. That branding is not about just a logo. So 90% of startups, rather 95% of startups who come, they come with just one thought: logo.
Correct.
Right? It's in that conversation, the very first conversation, that I explain them a basic understanding of branding. And that's when the journey starts, right? Correct. So as a designer, whilst I am a graphic designer, but for me to understand the business is very important. Because if I don't understand the business, I'll not be able to incorporate
the essence of what they are looking
exactly into the identity. Correct. That's where again the word identity comes in. So repetitively I come to identities, because the minute you say logo, you're just demolishing the purpose of why you want to create it.
Correct. Understood.